and welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
And we are back 1 week closer to Halloween. 1 week from Halloween.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I was going to go first, so I'm going to talk about the stuff we have in our Etsy shop. We have really great bags. Look at these. A pumpkin bag and a kitty bag with contrasting fabric. And the charms, we'll put pictures here. The charms are too cute. The kitty bag has a kitty charm with a witch hat. And then the pumpkin bag has a cute little pumpkin charm. We'll put close-ups of those. I just love these.
And they are already on the Etsy site.
These are already on the Etsy site, so you can get them for Halloween. And matching Notions bags. You could mix and match. You could make, if you wanted. Or they sold as sets?
They're sold as sets.
Oh, sorry, never mind. Never mind. If you want to mix and match, you have to buy both sets.
Yeah, there you go.
So this will go with the kitty bag, and this will go with the pumpkin bag. It's so cute.
And we do still have the sale going.
Sale's still going on, so get on it. Get on it. So all I have to talk about, I have lots of stories, but no stitching to speak of. But all I've been doing this week, literally, I haven't knit one stitch. I haven't even looked at yarn. I've been very busy this week. And I sit down in my chair at night, and I decided to do the challenge, right? And part of me said, oh my gosh, October 31st is next week, and then I don't have to do this anymore. but so I've been stitching every single day since I started, a little bit late. But here's my accomplishment. When I went fishing, oh my gosh, I have to talk about fishing. Okay. But when I went to the fishing trip last week, we got in, I was so dead. And I was like, I have to stitch. I was wondering how you were doing that. And I looked at it, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to do this one part.
That's the way I was stitching at the Balloon Fiesta.
I did it, and I actually have stitched that way every night since. Like
falling asleep. Yeah. You wake up.
The half hour of stitching takes me about 3 hours, and I wake up in my chair at 3 a.m, and I gotta go to bed now. Take a picture, post it. But I've been consistent. I have worked on it every single day, and this is probably,
you can tell, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to work on it right now, though, so I don't have to go to sleep tonight. So I can go to sleep tonight. And then I was on the fishing trip. I'll tell you all about it, but while I was there, I found... So we bought these patterns. We found these patterns in Albuquerque, but I found a whole kit of this one. It's the Southwest Decoratives. Storm 2 is the name of this. And this... The Rugs of the Southwest series, and it's a storm cloud native design here, and it came with all the thread and the Ada cloth and everything. And I was like, oh, I already know about these guys, but I'm gonna snatch this because I thought it's fun. So I bought myself another kit.
So is that pattern one of the ones that you guys bought? Or
it's different from the ones we bought.
Same company.
It's the same series.
That's
and I had not, maybe, I don't think I had seen this one, the Storm one.
They didn't have that one.
So, I know of. There, in the shop, they had some of the...
scissors?
Yeah.
Some of the same ones that we found in Albuquerque.
Sorry.
But I don't think this one we found in Albuquerque. So anyway, I bought it because I thought, oh hey, I need to spend more money for no reason and buy another project. For no reason. And I actually almost started it there, but there was some reason I didn't start it. Well, I didn't have another hoop, and I wasn't sure. I don't know why I didn't start it, but I decided not to. I decided to just continue with this one. But I don't promise that on November 1, this is going to go in the finish someday pile, because I have so many other things to work on. And also, on the 31st of October, Knit Stars drops. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's just having something to watch. I'm not necessarily going to do all the projects. But anyway, so that's going to keep me busy. So that's all I have to talk about. That's all I did this week. But
that's all the stitching.
Well, that's all the stitching I did.
Yeah.
I got lots of stories.
She was very busy.
I always have lots of stories, but I will tell them later.
So I'll go. Well, so this is what I was working on last week, if you recall, the scissor fob. And everything I did while we were filming last week, I pulled out because I remember that this is
She's
supposed
trying
to
to
be
emulate her.
this is supposed to
older
be
sister.
stitched with one thread, 1/2, not 2/2. And last week I did 2/2. So it's supposed to be one. So I pulled it all out because I remembered, like, I don't know, like out of the blue, I was just thinking, wait a minute, that was supposed to be 1/2. And I stitched it with 2 threads, and I looked at it, and you could see the difference. Like, you know, here it is all in 1 thread, and then, whoa, you know, this section is like 2. And I was like, oh, it was darker, it's fatter, you know, it's like, yeah, no. So I took it all out, but I have not restitched it because that would be too much, like, work. So I haven't done that yet.
Hi, little dog. There's a dog talking.
But I have a finish, Midnight Meow, that I've
cool.
had since the 90s.
Yay.
The copyright on this is 92, and that's probably around the time I bought it. And so I've had it for such a long time, but I threw away the threads that came with it. It's a little kit, and it came with the cloth. And I've had it for so long. This cloth is nice and soft. But so it came with this Ada cloth, and I, you know, picked DMC threads. And actually, all I had left, I think as of last week, was this last cat. I had done one color of the cat, his little stripes. And so I had a color that I had picked out some time ago for the lighter color. And I had thought I had gone, you know, on this chart to pick the colors, you know, but just by eyeballing it, what matched the colors on here. But when I looked at that, that thread, I thought, well, it's too dark. It's too, you know. And so I tried another color, and it was like too close to, you really couldn't see the little stripes at all. And so I tried another color, and I had actually done like several rows up here, and I thought, that's just not, it's not even showing up, because I had thought, well, maybe if I stitch a little bit, you know, it'll show, and it didn't. So I took it all out and redid it, chose another color, and so you can kind of see the stripes, and you can't see quite as much contrast
in the gray kitty
on this last kitty.
Oh,
This last kitty, you
I see.
can't quite.
That's like
See it
Calvin.
real strongly, but it's like Calvin.
Calvin is my
it's very
cat. Calvin
faded.
is a faded kitty,
Yeah.
and
I
Hobbs
see
is
it.
very orange.
So-
It
this
looks
is
good.
Calvin, and this is Hobbs, and this is I don't know who,
And this is Snug.
and that's Snug.
So
Another one's Tyler.
so
gray
it's done. I did colonial knots on all these little stars,
Let me see.
and I did black backstitching, which is, you know, the
I
backstitching
see.
around the cats. It's black on black, so it's really hard to see. You can only see it where, you know, it's on their bodies. Like this last kitty, you know, has a lot of black details, you know, outlining his legs and all that. The faces are done with 2 threads. The eyes and the mouth on these other cats is done with 2 threads, and then the around their bodies and all that is done with 1 thread. So, but yeah, I did it. So since 1992, here it is. It's all done. Yay!
As long as I've been married.
Yes.
As long as I've been married, you've had that.
Yes.
Which is a very long time.
So then I was kind of like at loose ends. Like, well, should I work on this? Should I work on that? And so I was thinking that I wanted to do this stitching with a housewife chart, and I did. But first, while I was casting about, because I was like, well, I have to cut the fabric, and I have to find the center, and blah 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 blah. And I thought, I don't feel like doing that, so I pulled this out and worked on this a little bit. This is Winter Gathering Dimensions kit. It comes with all the threads and this light blue Ada. And so I worked on this a bit. So I finished this wire or whatever that the birds are standing on this one color. It's 2 colors, but I did 1 color of the branch. So this is as wide as it is, as the
Oh, the whole thing.
thing is, yeah. And then this little bird in the middle that I had started with, there was like maybe 5 stitches of this one color. I thought, I never did that. There was a little gap, you know. So I found that color, and that's why I did this long line, because it's the same color as what was in the missing squares. And then I did this orange color, which is the next bird, and then this little stocking. Because I had done this line, I could measure off of that and do the middle of the stocking. There's another color on there. But anyway, so I did that.
Is that like backstitching those stripes? Is that how they do that?
on
the stocking?
Yeah, yeah. So there's another shade. No, you can't see it. There's another shade
on the
around
sides.
around the edges of the stocking,
Uh-huh.
and then you backstitch stripes across
I see.
it. Yeah.
Okay. That's so cute.
Yeah. So this is cute. It's a palette cleanser. After the cats came the birds, and then I've had this Ghouls Garland since it came out. This is a Stitching with the Housewives design, and this was last week. I talked about going to the attic for a bunch of threads. So I didn't bring. They're all in my separated out now already. But so I had bought a bunch of threads at the attic, and several of them were for this design. And I also have Cataween Cal, which is another Halloween design that came out around the same time that this did. The same month or whatever, a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever. But I haven't started that one yet. I haven't decided whether I'm going to start that. But I'm working on this one, and so the design called for a 28 count black either Lugana or Ada, and this is not Monica.
Not Monica.
Monaco Lugana. But this
Hi,
is
Monica.
this is 32 count linen. This is I had stitched this originally dyed this originally for Sleepy Hollow, but it came out too dark because there's so much black in that design. So this is very, very dark gray and purple, and I think there's a little bit of red in there. But anyway, so I just did a little bit of the middle of the ghost in Ghouls Garland, just for from the neck down. He doesn't have a head, just neck down and one arm, and then
That's
I'm
pretty
working on his
ghoulish.
body. Yeah. And then I went to the attic and I bought a bunch of threads, and I don't remember. I don't think I bought. Did I buy a pattern? I think it was just threads.
No, you just bought. You were thinking about patterns and you bought just threads.
Yeah, because I bought a whole bunch of threads. But then, for my birthday, one of my aunts gave me a gift card to Joann's, and I had almost forgotten about it. And I thought, oh yeah, and I didn't really need anything at Joann's, but I thought, well, I'm going to look around. And
Worst
see.
time to go.
Yes, see whether to buy.
What
And
on earth? I'm sorry.
What did you leave the thread hanging?
I don't know what I did. I thought that I thought I had it. There were 2 cut lengths. I was just going to use them. So I ran what I thought was the 2 ends under, and I did a stitch. But it turns out that I had this one looped and this one loose. They were like this. This is how I was stitching. And I'm like, how did I do that? Okay, that is the weirdest thing I've ever done. Okay, sorry.
So,
Let me interrupt you. I'm always having a problem here.
So at Joann's, I bought these little rotary blades. I have a small rotary cutter that I've had for a while now. I haven't used that much because I don't do much finishing or whatever. But anyway, so I thought, well, I need to replace the blades on that. So I bought some replacement blades.
Money.
And I bought More Monaco.
Monica.
And this is and some 18 count Ada. And I'm thinking I have enough, I think, for some of the Prairie School Santas, but
Oh, I love
I
those.
thought I might, do more of them. I don't know.
Let me see them.
So that's 18 count, and then some more 28 count Lugana.
Let me see. Monaco.
And
So this is the stuff you really like.
yeah. I have a whole bunch of I have like 2 or 3 little things like that. But I thought, you can always use more. You can dye it or whatever.
Cool.
So, speaking of dyeing, we were talking about my nephew Eli, her son, moved into his own apartment. He's in the process. That's one thing we were doing today, and one thing you had mentioned was that he didn't have any like little hand towels or whatever, and I have seen like some like fingertip towels kind of that have a like little Ada insert on them, and so I have this Mandalorian pattern that my brother-in-law gave me last Christmas.
Yeah.
I
think you ordered it online.
Yeah, so it has a bunch of characters from the Mandalorian, but it has Baby Yoda in here, and I know that the Baby Yoda thing will fit in the little insert. And there's another character here. This guy, what is his name? Something with a K. Is it?
Who?
It has
The I have spoken guy.
this guy
What's
here.
his name?
I can't remember.
It lists it here. Quill.
Quill.
Yeah.
Quill.
Yeah.
Wheel.
So I don't know. He might be a little too tall for the insert. I haven't looked at the stitch count yet, but I was thinking because they're really they come in white basically.
Yeah. That would be fun.
So I'm gonna see if I can dye it some other color and then So I'm gonna explore that and see.
That's fun.
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna work on needle minders while I'm sitting here. So I want to move these out of the way so I don't make a mess, and make a mess on them or whatever. So let me just move this stuff.
Would it be annoying to the camera? I wonder if I wore my little neck light.
I don't know.
I can't see. I'm so blind.
Oh, and speaking of blind, working on this.
Is that annoying? That's kind of annoying, isn't it?
No.
You're just glowing.
I'm sorry.
But in working on this,
I don't want to be annoying.
I found I got it once I got into the groove of it. It wasn't so bad, but when I first started, I was really having trouble. Like, do I put? Is this the right hole? Is that the right hole? I don't know. And so,
Seeing.
Yeah. So Eve had lent me this magnifying glass
For doing that other one?
Yeah, and it has a light.
Oh, that's nice.
So for doing which one was it?
That
little one that I pulled all the stitches out of. But so I used it to do Ghouls Garland. I just made a mess there because I can't untangle it now. but so yeah, so that came in handy, and actually it came in handy because I could look at the stitches and see it up close, but I couldn't get it in a position where where I could look through it and whatever. But it helped me sort of see what parts I'd stitched or whatever, and then I could actually I had my stitching there was a pillow I have light green pillowcases. And I could see it through the fabric, and then if I put my hand, I have a light on my headboard that shines on my stitching. But if my hand was casting a shadow, basically, I could actually see better. See that because I could see the fabric behind the stitching. It's very weird and very complicated. But so yeah, oops, this goes with that. But anyway, so today I'm working on some needle minders, and we had a lady who had asked for some specific. These are like Scrabble tiles, and she had asked for some specific letters, so to see if we could accommodate her or whatever. So we happened to be able to do that. So
They're on spec.
yeah. And then I have some other things. I think I've done these before. There's a Santa moon and a Christmas tree, and scissors. Do you want regular? Oh,
I don't care. If it cuts, it's fine.
yeah. But so I have some other things that I'm gonna make into
Oh,
needle
sorry.
minders.
Thank you.
But yeah, so that's why I wanted to get my stitching stuff out of the way, because I don't want to make a mess. You know.
That's why I made her have some paper.
Yes.
I like this spider web.
The spiderweb tablecloth. Where'd you get it? It's cute.
Walmart.
It's very cute.
Walmart always has cute tablecloths for a reasonable price.
Mm. Look at the amber color of my drink. I have to have light. I was trying. I'm like, especially with this. That's one of the things I'm having a lot of trouble with is seeing.
Wait.
Ooh.
What?
I want to show my quilt before
Oh.
Beth starts putting lots of
Sorry,
glue
make a
everywhere.
mess. Okay.
Oh, you need
So-
me to help you?
Yeah, I showed.
I'll turn this off.
I showed you this quilt top before I put the borders on. But I got the borders
We have to
on.
cover Beth in every episode, so we'll cover you again.
Okay.
But so we moved the scarecrow to the side so you could see her this time.
We're not going to try to show the whole thing, but
Well, there's the border. Lovely.
Those
As my
I like the
husband
little
would say.
pops of green.
As my husband would say, lovely. It's really pretty.
so
It's a beautiful
now
border.
I just have to, find the space and everything. So I'm working on
A
some.
little black blob of thread or something.
Oh,
I'm working on some other things that because I have to find
this is
some
so
space
cute.
to make the quilt sandwich.
It looks so comfy.
Well,
With lines.
I've made it a priority because the dog keeps eating the stuffing out of my comforter. So, this isn't going to have stuffing exactly. So,
Nice. Hopefully she
So,
won't eat it.
huh?
Hopefully she won't eat it.
Yeah. So there was that, and I've been working on some
Pretty.
other quilting projects.
Oh, I did work on my quilt. That's one thing I will add on Hannah's quilt. I did a little bit of cutting.
And you did
trimming.
one. And you did one with the inside. Sorry.
Yes, I did sew one square backwards.
So, she put the wrong side outside. Okay, so
I was very mad. And
That's
then
because
I-
you were-
okay, But then I unstitched them all, and I sewed them back together, and I did 3 correct, and I did the 4th one, and I looked at it, and I had done it exactly the same way. In other words,
Because you
I
were
just
too
need to go to
tired.
bed. Yeah, it's called. You need to go to bed
so
now.
as you recall, I showed you a whole bunch of packets like this
Yeah.
with the little things that still need to be trimmed. Okay, I had 2 trimmed.
Have you trimmed
That's,
them all?
I have not trimmed any others
no.
because I looked at the. I had them all ready and the stuff ready, and we were in the way. You and Dad were in the way, and by the time we were done talking, we were talking about something important. But by the time you were done talking, I don't feel like doing it. You know what? When you and Dad were talking, I completely forgot that he hadn't eaten lunch, and my dad will not mention it if
Oh no.
I don't say anything. So yeah. Anyway, so I had 2 that were ready to go, and I said, I'm just gonna. So I sewed this
That's great.
together. Now this is not the finished block. This is half finished. This block. I have some other stuff to do to it. I have to cut it apart and sew it back together again.
That's great. I love the colors though. They're just simple.
They're just simple solids.
I've never made a quilt with solids, and that's really
neat. So then here I got the pinwheels ready.
Nice.
And the reason I didn't sew this together is because then I have to find some place to put them all. So this one. So this will go with different colors than that other one. So yeah, just different shades. And but I said, okay, I don't want to do any more on this. If I need to decide what kind of quilting I'm going to do on it. And so I have right there the jelly roll thing that I was going to do, and it's coming out right because you have the right. Well, I realized what I had done wrong, but also I'm like, you know what? I don't care if it's a fat quarter inch. My 1/4 inch foot does not sew a 1/4 inch. It's a little bit wider. Well, stuff like this, it's important that it be a 1/4 inch, but it just all has to be consistent. And part of the problem was when I was trying to eyeball where it needs to be for that, I wouldn't get it consistent. And then I had not, because I didn't have those little lines on the thing, I wasn't cutting it exactly in the same spot every time. I thought I was. They're close, but not exact. So cut correctly, sewn correctly, it comes out right.
Oh, imagine that. Not possible.
So, but it's not the way
Made
it
a mistake
is.
and did it right.
The way it is right now, it's just impossible to show. So, and I didn't have. I sewed 1/2 of it like this, and I just need to go back around the other way. And I was like, I have to go to Naomi's to Eli's. I was happy to go, but I was like in the middle. I was like, and right now I'm making some scissor fobs theoretically, but in between last week and this week, I had a new start. I worked on other things too, but it's just same old stuff I've been working on. I went ahead and I put away When Witches Go Riding. It wasn't that I lost interest. It was that I have other things.
Mojo?
I have other things I want to do, like this.
What's that?
This is I want to work on these little berries, but it's Holly Jolly Christmas.
Oh, cute.
And I had
Now that says
at the attic.
Erica Michaels.
Erica Michael. It's Erica Michael.
There's an S.
The S is because it's her needle art designs, but her name is Erica Michael.
Okay.
So I found this at the attic, but I saw it on Helen D's Flosstube, and she has this kick on making. She's like all hot into making those berries, and I was like, I want to make a berry. And I saw that pattern on her YouTube, and I was like, I like Holly Jolly Christmas. So I bought it. I bought it without reading what the fabric count was. It's like, I'm not doing that. It's 36 count or something like that. So I found this 18 count vintage. We'll take a picture, but I started it.
That's really cute.
I want to say Monday, Tuesday. This is how far I've gotten already. So I have about a little more than half of the green done. I just have to do the.
So are you doing the sample or the
one.
berry? Oh,
I'm doing this one.
Yeah.
So I just have to finish Jolly here and Christmas, and I think maybe a couple more leaves, maybe not, and I'll be done with the green, and then the rest of it is just, but it's going pretty fast. Part of the reason it's going fast is because it's letters,
yeah, words always go fast.
Well, and just little. so I just have then a little ornament here and some little doodads here and there. And then I want to do all three, but I might move on to my other Christmas patterns. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm really enjoying working on this. I love this fabric. It's so pretty.
Was it printed like that, or
Yeah.
did you dye it like that?
No, I bought it like this from Hobby Lobby. But it's only on one side, so
Yeah,
it's printed.
yeah.
Oh, how nice.
So I'm enjoying this, and I can't wait to finish that. Of course, I normally do not work on the same thing every night, so we'll see. And I guess that's everything. So now we have stories.
Stories. Well, I could start with last week. I forgot that
You fishing?
I had a huge expedition last week. Here, I'm done with this for now. Let me just put this in here and turn off this light because it's annoying. I like this little light. It's you charge it with USB, and it's got these, and it's like 3 different strengths. Or I guess you can also turn it on back here. No. That turns it off. I don't know. Anyway, but it's bendy, so you can direct it. Because I had that one. Here it is. Glow. I don't know, but I had that one for a long time. That one that flipped up, but twice the switch mechanism on it wore out, and I'm like, obviously this is bad design. I've had them twice. So then I went looking and found.
Yeah, I have one that I also bought, but what for me, I can't. It's like at the wrong angle.
Well, you can adjust it by making it shorter. You know,
but it like because it's down here. If I stitch down here, in my lap, it would work. But I stitch up here.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to get it.
But anyway, this one has been working for me real well. But of course, this is what I forgot to take to Albuquerque. I was so miserable.
Oh yeah, in Albuquerque, I couldn't see.
Yeah. So I took this with. Yeah, you could also wear it as a hat. No, but I took this with me to when I went fishing. So I went fishing. Oh my gosh, we got up there. It was a long drive, and but we went up on Saturday, and we this lodge. Okay, first of all, little known fact: did you know the Navajo Nation is in a different time zone?
No, you told me when you went up there.
Yeah, so we were driving, and all of a sudden we cross a bridge, and our phones go crazy, and it's an hour later. And I'm like, what is going on? And I thought, this is really weird.
So they're on the same...
They're the same as
in New Mexico?
As New Mexico, yeah. And so but I didn't know that. I just thought, well, this is really weird, stupid. It's like, stupid T-Mobile. So... So we get up there, and I was like, what if I'm going to have to figure something out, because what if I set my alarm, because we have to meet the boat at 8, and like I got to make sure it's what time zone is he on, like so I was like freaking out. So we get up there, and we all along the highway there were little kiosks of the Dene people, Navajo folks, selling their wares, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I want to always buy straight from the artisan. I don't like paying middlemen. I don't like paying a shop for native art. I want to buy it right from the people who make it. That's my conviction. And so I was very excited. So we stopped, and I got Hannah a beautiful set. It's a necklace, bracelet, earrings set, because she loves turquoise, and it's really nice. It's silver and everything. And then I got myself a necklace. I'm not wearing it. I didn't show it to you guys. It's a pendant. and it's got very thin silver wire wrapped into the shape of a tree, and on that tree is amethysts all around. So it's about this big around. It's gorgeous, and they had one with multicolored stones too, but I really like the purple. And Eli bought himself a necklace, and we went on our way. And I called, and they had gorgeous pottery. And, I didn't tell this to Hannah, but I called Mark and I said, she's graduating from school this year, and we wanted to give her teacher something significant. So I'm like, should I get something for Miriam while I'm up here? And he's like, absolutely. But I didn't on the way up. But so we drove forever. It felt like forever. And we get up there. You cross this bridge. There's actually two bridges. There's the old Navajo bridge, and then, which was like it's like a historic engineering thing now. And then and then they built another one that you drive over. And then right there was the lodge, and then there's a turnoff to go to Lee's Ferry, which is where it's kind of the entry point to the Colorado River that goes down through the Grand Canyon. So, like, if you're going to do a rafting trip or whatever, that's where you get on. And so you get on you walk into the water on the river. If you turn right, you go to the Grand Canyon. And if you turn left, you go to Glen Canyon. And that's where we fished. So we met but this lodge is kind of, there's a few houses around, but Marble Canyon is not really a town. It's just the lodge and it's the rooms, the restaurant, the little store there, and then laundromat and gas station.
You tend to gravitate towards stuff like that because Greer was very much like that.
Yeah, it was a tiny little town, but the people were just so funny. They were wonderful. One of the waitresses would be like, we walked in for dinner, and she's like, 2 for dinner? And we said, yeah. And she goes, no, sorry. You can only have 4 people for dinner. This is so funny. Or she'd tell me, no, you can't have that. She was great. But we got settled in our room, and it's a nice little room, simple lodgings, but really nice. And we went to dinner, and I texted the guy, our fishing guide, and I was like, where should we meet you? Because I'm like, I've never been here before. So he called me, and of course the cell signal up there was almost nothing, and he's like, oh, our call only dropped once, we're doing great. But he's like, also your phones are probably whacked out because the Navajo Nation is on a different time zone. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, so we figured it out. I'm like, so what time is it? And he told me. I'm like, okay. So we set our phones and we were good. But we went and met the boat in the morning, and he took us up and down the river. It's a 15-mile river up to the dam that makes Lake Powell, which Lake Powell covers the top of Arizona, and it goes up into Utah. It's huge. But where that's dammed up, then what goes under the dam becomes the Colorado River and goes through the Grand Canyon. And in that area, they no longer stock the fish. They are wild trout, and they are humongous. I'm going to put some pictures here because they were so beautiful. They were the biggest fish I've ever seen in my personal life. I've never been, salmon fishing or, trophy fishing or whatever, but they were gorgeous and big and beautiful. And we did catch and release, so he would have us, Eli caught the first one, and I was kind of mad about it. And then he caught one more, and I caught 4. But we let go, jumped off the line about 6 more. So it was a very busy day. It was great. And, so our guide would net it, and then he'd take the hook out, and then he'd say, okay, get your hands wet under the net, and then lift the fish out of the net, and we'll get a picture. And so they were like chunky boys. They were like so big. And it was just like, I still smile when I think about it. It was so great. I was on the bow of the boat, and Eli was in the back of the boat, and every time another boat would come by, the
wake.
would rock it, and he'd be like, hang on. But he was great. I mean, the reason we caught those fish was not any skill of ours. It was him knowing exactly where the fish are. Apparently, he's been on this river every day since he was a teenager. And he's, he's basically lived on that river. So
Like
he
Jungle
knows.
Cruise? He just goes...
Yeah. But he knows exactly the riffles, where the fish are. He'd pull up the boat. He'd have us cast. He'd drift the boat with the river, following our floats. And if we didn't get a bite, he'd be like, okay. And he'd go back. And then he'd come back. And then he'd go back. And then, we'd catch a bite. He'd turn the engine off. We'd just kind of drift down the river while he helped us pull it out of the water. And he was fantastic. He really helped Eli fishing with one hand. It was wonderful. I get back to the hotel and I called Mark and I was like, can I come back next year? And I wrote to our guide. I was like, you're probably sick of us, but I'm already ready to book for next year. So I think I'm going to go for my birthday. But it was wonderful. I don't think anything bad happened except that I had no signal and couldn't post anything and couldn't text anybody. And I ran out of roaming. You only get so much roaming, what do you call it? Data amount. So since T-Mobile didn't have coverage there, I could only be roaming for a little while, and then it's like you have no more data. So I could barely make a phone call, and texts would sometimes go through, but no, I could not get online. I couldn't. So I knew that and the hotel doesn't have Wi-Fi. The lodge. Did I say that? So I knew that. I knew the hotel didn't have Wi-Fi, but I didn't know the coverage would be quite so thin. But I didn't download any movies. I didn't download any music before I went up there. Nothing. So I learned a very sad, boring lesson, which is CSI is on all the time. And we were there watching CSI Special Victims Unit. I'm in there watching with my son. And if you've ever watched...
CSI or L&O?
No. What? No.
Special Victims Unit is Law and Order.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. I don't know. But it was the one about all the sex crimes. Right?
Yeah, that's Law and Order, Special Victims
Unit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like the first episode was, was okay. But then the next episode...
It was exactly the same.
No, but this one woman was describing this very bad, awful experience. And it was in great detail. First of all, I'm saying, you can put this on TV now? Because I haven't watched broadcast TV in a long time. But even to the point where Eli was like, okay. I was like, I really don't want to watch this with my mom. But anyway, so we watched network TV. But when we got back from the fishing trip, I was broke up. I'm like, Eli, I didn't do anything, but I feel like I broke my foot. Like my foot was just like every step hurt, like in a weird way. And I didn't. But,
probably from the way you were standing or whatever.
Trying to grip. But
well, you know what I noticed when we would go on cruises is that your body does weird things that you're not aware of trying to stand up straight. And then when you get off the ship, you're like, okay, something's wrong here.
Yeah. Well, Eli was like, I still feel the boat rocking.
Yeah.
But so we were really tired. We went to dinner. We came back and we got ready for bed, because what else are you gonna do? You got no Wi-Fi. There's nowhere to go. You can't go out. We already went to the restaurant. What else are you gonna do? And we went back to our rooms and kind of laid across the bed, and we were watching some TV, and I was like, I've got to stitch. So I got up. It was like 8:15 or so, and we had kind of been snoozing. And Eli goes, Mom, can I turn off the TV? I said, sure. And that child, who will never go to bed and will stay up all night just to spite himself, was asleep at 8:30. So at 5 the next morning, we're like, oh, I guess I slept long enough. So there I was trying to stitch.
It's like when we used to go camping, that after a while, there's nothing to do because it gets dark early and, and it gets cold and Before you're like,
It was pretty
I guess
chilly
I'm
up there
gonna
too.
go
It was
there.
nice. So the next day we just moseyed down the
You
mountain.
didn't even take a deck of cards.
No, we didn't. We were dumb. But you know what? We were so tired that
Yeah.
that first night we were excited, but the second night we were like, But I was so glad that we stayed over and didn't try to drive home. It's like 4.5 hours, but I would have crashed.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. That was my weekend last weekend, and I will have while I'm talking, I'm sure I will have put up lots of pictures, and it was beautiful scenery, beautiful fish, beautiful experience, and I'm dying to go back.
So 2 weekends in a row, she had a fabulous trip.
Yes, and then this weekend, I'm also tired right now because this morning we moved Eli into his new apartment, which is really great.
Started
Saturday.
to.
Yeah, sorry, Saturday.
Yeah.
We started to move him in. He's not moving in until Monday when there's full staff.
Which is a good thing because we didn't get done.
Yeah, they volunteered to come up and unpack for us, so that was nice. Because
they were building furniture.
Yeah, we built furniture and we got it all in. And actually, the move went really well because that's such a great place.
It is a good place.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's housing for neurodiverse folks. So anybody on the autism spectrum or any other kind of neurodiversities. So, and it's very well supported housing, and they have thought everything through in a really great.
You know, it's not in. It's downtown Phoenix, which a lot of people say, "Oh, you know, down."
It's nice.
The building is really well maintained, and you know, it's
and he's got a great support.
It's limited access, so you know, we had to sign in.
Yeah.
There's a dog on my leg.
Yeah, she's been nosing my legs. It's really great.
Very safe.
I think it's really
environment.
Nice. Yeah, and it's going to be great.
And he's got a corner apartment, so he has some beautiful views from his apartment.
Yeah, that's really nice. And so we're you know, but the move was way better than our last moving our child experience. Because this, you know, we just pulled the truck up. There was a ramp into the building. There was a service elevator up to the
I did
floor.
1.5 chairs building, and I was done.
Yeah, but
although I had already done his bedroom, kind of.
Yeah, you unpacked his bedroom.
Yeah, Eli and I unpacked his kitchen.
Yeah. So, but you know, moving in was pretty.
I'm
great.
jealous of his pantry.
Yeah, he's got a big pantry. It's nice. So that was, but. So I drove a 10-foot U-Haul truck. So I got the badge for driving the van in Boston. I got my Boston driving badge. But today we decided not to do the cargo van, and I'm glad we did because it was just this. It was the 10-footer. Didn't have a ramp, but it was a good size and it fit everything very well. Plus, we packed the back of my car with all the weird little junk, you know, how you have when you move, but. I didn't know the freeway was going to be closed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that was bad. It was so bad.
And you weren't even on the freeway because I warned you.
Mm-hmm.
So we get on the freeway and I told Mark, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to go the way I like to go. Okay. So on the way to this apartment, if you get in the HOV, which is high occupancy vehicle, and it's a Saturday, so it doesn't matter if you're in the HOV lane or not. So that's where you can drive, like during rush hour, with two or more people in the car. You can get in this fast lane, right? Well, in this town, there is a couple of left exits, only a couple, I love left exits because you don't have to cross the traffic and get off on the right side. So one of them that I like to go to his place is a left exit. It's the HOV lane. And it splits off, and you go up, and it's this little ramp, and you turn right, and you basically go straight up the street, and it's right to his place. So I'm like, that's how we're going to go, honey. And he's like, I'm just going to follow the GPS. I'm like, you should go the way I'm telling you. We're going to get in the HOV lane, and we're going to stay there all the way to the street we're going to get off on, and then we're going to turn right, and it's perfect. Mwah! It's the way to go. So he's like, I'll just follow you, but he also has his GPS up. So here I am lumbering in this giant truck, and it has no middle mirror. It's only the big mirrors on the side. And I feel like it's 1,000,000 feet wide, and I'm driving it, and I go over to the left lane. Now, the signs on the freeway say that the freeway is closed at Loop 202. And you know, use alternate...
It was there. It was closed there, too.
Okay. But it didn't say anything about it being closed at 7th Street.
No. That was...
Which was before I wanted to get off. It didn't say anything about that. So it said Loop 202. I thought, oh, well, that's way out in
Those
the
are
west.
opposite directions.
Well, no, it's the same direction, but the 202 is way over
Oh,
there.
yeah, it was closed at this loop, too.
Oh, well, because it was telling me Loop 202, so I assumed it was the far... Because 202 goes around and hits I-10 again.
Yeah.
So I assumed that's what it was talking
Loop
about.
202 goes behind our house.
Yeah, it goes like this around, and it goes up into Phoenix. So I thought that they were talking about that. It didn't say anything on the signs about being closed at 7th Street. So there I am, lumbering along in the HOV lane, way to the left, right? And if it said it was closed at 7th Street, I didn't see it. The Google didn't warn me either. It told me to get off at 7th Street, but it always tells me to get off at 7th Street. And I was like, I know better. I'm going to get off over here. So all of a sudden, I see you have to get out of this lane. And I was like, 'cause I'm one of these people, like, if you tell me the left lane's closed, I'm going to get over immediately. I'm not going to wait till the wedge is there and try to shove my way in. You know, I
Especially
blame
not
people.
in that vehicle.
Not in that vehicle. So, but I didn't see any signs that said that. At least, I don't know. So there I am, like, freaking out. Fortunately, Mark was behind me, so he got over and made a hole, okay? And I'm driving along. I'm like, oh, great. The HOV lane's closed. Maybe it's only closed for a little while, and I can get back over. Oh, no, there's another sign. There's another sign. So basically, we're going, and then we're, like, basically stopped, and we have to get all the way over. The entire freeway is shut down, and we all have to get off.
They
at
got
7th
to that.
Street.
They got to the apartment about an hour after they intended to get there.
Yeah, it was terrible, and so there I am trying to merge in this monster truck, and I'm like,
When we were leaving, we went through 10. You know,
Yeah.
and the opposite way was still closed.
yeah,
and
it was a parking lot.
It was backed up from that 7th Street exit. It was backed up for at least 5 miles.
Yeah, it was bad,
And it was and the she said, if you find some food on your way, can you bring it? And I said, oh, there's a McDonald's on the corner, and I wasn't thinking 7th Street of the closure, on the corner of McDowell and 7th Street, which is right there, right? And I forgot about the Taco Bell on 3rd Street. Anyway, so stupidly, we went to 7th Street, and then...
I told them not to come on the freeway, and they didn't, but then they got in the mess anyway.
And then... so we're waiting, and I wasn't trying to be crazy. There were people turning around and doing all kinds of crazy
Because there was
things.
construction on the street we were on. It was horrible construction too, because it was like, you were down to like one lane.
On 3rd Street or 7th Street?
On 7th Street, I guess.
No,
it was?
when we were
something.
that was on Central.
Yeah.
And that was fine. But when we got on 7th Street, the backup from people having to get off
Yeah.
was making people crazy.
Yeah.
And I just wait. It's like, whatever, And I told them, we're not going to that McDonald's. There's no way we're going to be able to get in and out of there. It's
Yeah.
hard enough on a regular day.
Yeah.
Well, when we
so
were passing over the freeway where that left exit was,
Yeah.
all those people that were that were being forced off were, there, and then like people trying to get on were over here. And then the lane
And it
we
was
were on,
gridlocked.
and so it gridlocked.
Well,
because we were like going along, and the light changed, and we were like in the middle
We
of
got
the thing,
stuck in the middle of the intersection.
and
Yeah.
because the
And-
people in front of us wouldn't go,
Yeah.
and so then then the light changed, so then all these two side things started trying to go.
Yeah.
And
even
they're
though
just
there
like-
were cars in the middle of the
Yeah.
intersection.
Yeah, it was
And they
horrible.
were weaving in between the cars. They were doing all kinds of nutty things. And I'm like, if you'll just wait, it'll be faster.
There was this one guy who, as we were on the off ramp, he wanted to get in, and he just, instead of merging, he just turned left like this between two cars, and then turned I mean, turned right. He just went whoop, wonk, and then he did it again. And I'm like, you are a jerk.
Well, when we were
I hate
going,
people like that.
there was a guy
Can I borrow scissors again?
at a motorcycle, white lining, right?
Oh,
going
yeah.
between, because we were all bumper to bumper,
It's legal some
Going
places,
slow.
but it's not legal here.
and he was like,
It's maddening.
yeah, and then when we were passing by, I think, well, I couldn't tell if this car was trying to go to there was some hospital or something over there.
Yeah.
But in the left lane were all these big trucks, and they
Semis
were
having
just-
to go around
Yeah.
the detour.
Yeah.
And so, and the car in front of us wanted to get in that lane. And so they just like went like this. And
And
so,
just stopped
and
traffic
they, yeah,
behind
they
them.
just stopped there.
And people are honking at me. I'm like, people here are going,
Yeah.
I'm like, I cannot move.
Yeah,
There's no
it
way.
was, there was just like, you couldn't, it wasn't wide enough to get by.
and I kept
this
honking
person-
at them, and they wouldn't
they
go
wouldn't,
forward.
They were just sitting there, like trying to force their way in between these trucks. And like, there's no way. They're not moving. They're not going to let you in.
Well,
And so,
I don't think
really
so.
I don't think a
Finally,
truck could even see them where they were.
Yeah.
so finally, it kind of, we were able to go around them. But it was
Well,
it
they
was
kept
just,
trying to move over like
yeah,
that, and
it was just crazy making.
yeah, I had
know.
to.
So we have to go back tomorrow, and I'm like, I gotta figure out how to
Don't go through Central.
No.
Yeah, I forgot about the light rail construction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was horrible.
I don't
Well,
know how I don't know how I'm gonna get there.
It travels. The light
You know
rail
what?
construction
I could
travels
do
pretty fast. It's
143. I could go 143,
to
to,
48th Street to 143, and then yeah,
or even
you can
even
go to McDowell.
Kyrene, or
You could go
Priest.
143 to McDowell, where it stops,
Yeah.
where it ends. Go over there to 3rd Street and go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Sorry,
Because
you don't care about which
you don't
way
care
we
about
have
how I'm gonna go, but the traffic was cray, and
Yeah.
but I wouldn't have cared. I could have handled it if I wasn't in that monster truck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm so stressed out. I was like, my hands were cramped up because I'm like, okay, I don't want to,
It's a good. Can you imagine people who don't know the area?
Yeah.
Like just passing through Phoenix.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Say, I should have gone through the 202.
Yeah.
The 202 now it's
Will
a
take you
bypass.
around,
If you
yeah.
go through Phoenix and you don't want to go through traffic, take the loop 202. It bypasses
Yes.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
And your Google will say loop totu.
Totu.
But so we made
Well-
it, and we were able to unpack really easily because they had some carts there. Plus I very smartly rented a furniture dolly. We have a regular dolly, and I forgot that our regular dolly has the handle where you put it where it could go flat for boxes, which is really nice. But I also rented a furniture dolly, which was so everything went really well. And we got to go back tomorrow and build some more furniture. And then I'm going to a fancy party in Scottsdale. I have to work, but I'm going. Mark's my husband works for Boys and Girls Club of Scottsdale, and they're having a big fundraiser tomorrow night. And he's like, because I was told him, you can volunteer me for I love those things. He hates them. He hates it. But I'm like, I love it. So I can pretend to be rich for a night. But I mean, I have to work we have to work the raffle table. But then we can go walk around and eat food and I'm not gonna drink. But there's tons of all kind, like every restaurant or whatever is gonna have, of course, drinks. And then a amuse-bouche and stuff like that. So I'm like, I'm down.
So one of the things I did this week was I happened across, I guess because I posted stuff about the hot air balloons, or maybe I had looked for them before we went, I don't know. It presented me with some hot air balloon videos. And one was a couple that do like a travel log of places they go, and they do it in English and in Spanish. So one of them they lived in Mexico for a long time, I think. And
the husband was from Mexico.
well, I don't know if it was a husband, but the man was from Mexico. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
he does the same thing, but they do it in Spanish for him. And I didn't watch the Spanish version. But it was excellent. I want to see it was a two-parter, and the second part they go up in a
Oh, neat.
because the they were watching the balloons go up, and one of them was from Mexico, so he went over there and was talking to them. They said, "We'll take you up."
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, it's a wonderful video, and I wish I could tell you what the name of it is now, but I will try to look it up from my history and post a link because it's really good.
From this year or last year?
This year.
Oh.
They were there at the beginning.
Oh.
When the balloons were actually going up, and then I'll put a link because they give you a lot of really good information about going to the Balloon Fiesta. However, none of them give there was another one I'm going to talk about in a sec. There was another one also that they don't tell you to take the park and ride. If you ever decide to go see this, and you listen to those travel logs and stuff, they're very informative, have a lot of information, but none of them say take the park and ride. And the park and ride is the way to go. It's the only way to go. Some people pay for the first thing and then they just stay there all day. I don't know what they do in the middle of the day. There's nothing there in the middle of the day. But the second one, they're RV campers, and they take they take their RV here and there, hither and yon, and they went and parked there several days before it began, and they were talking about the RV lots. So if you like to RV and you think, oh, I would like to do that, there's a lot of RV lots, and they talk about that. So I thought it was very interesting, and I lived there. I knew, a lot of the stuff about the Balloon Fiesta, but the RV people, I think it was them, show the Balloon Fiesta Park from above. So you can get, and they show some maps of it because they're talking about where the RVs could park. And so you can get a real
sense
of how huge this is.
Big.
And they talk about how it's all gridded and very organized, even though it looks like chaos when you're on the field. But they also show some of their visit to the balloon museum. And
that's one thing I've never done.
I've never gone. Mom and Dad had, but I've never been to the balloon museum. But I did recognize a lot of stuff that when I was in there. And when we were younger, this group of men, or couple, Ben Abruzzo and Maxie Anderson, took, it was a different type of hot air balloon, but a hot air balloon across the ocean.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and so there's some information about that, and other things about the history of the Balloon Fiesta. But next year is the 50th anniversary, so there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. I kind of want to go back.
Yeah.
I had so much fun this time, and I'd been to the Balloon Fiesta many times. When my son was little, I said we have to go, and I took him there. But this year the weather was so nice. We weren't freezing to death. We were cold, but there a lot of times you need a parka. This year we didn't need one, but I can't wait to go back.
Yeah.
But that's why I haven't done much knitting or stitching or anything, because we've just been getting ready for him to move. And now I realized, I told him I would help him with his Halloween costume. One of the reasons he's moving now instead of the beginning of the month was so that he can go to the Halloween party, because it's so social.
When is the Halloween party?
It's
is
on
it
Halloween.
on Halloween.
It's on Halloween.
Well, that's a week from tomorrow, so you have time. Just because he's moving later this week, you can go get him and he can come and work on it.
Oh yeah. So he decided we talked about it because we were trying to decide what he should be, and I was like, you should be a fly fisherman. So because he has a good fishing vest and a good hat, and we went to when she went to spend her money, we went there and I got feathers and pipe cleaners and like big fuzzy like pom-poms, and I'm going to use paper clips, and I'm going to make fake flies for him to put, big kind of gaudy ones for him to put on his hat and his vest. And we got a dowel rod, and we were looking for a fish, and we thought, I could make one. We bought felt and I thought I could make the shape out of foil, like, you know. But then we were at Petco, and we found it's a catnip toy, but it is a trout, a rainbow trout.
And so afterwards you can give it to
and
the
after
cats.
we can give it to the cats. But it's so cute. So we're going to sew that onto and I have that fishing line that I bought. Just, you know, cheap fishing line. Fly line.
I saw in my, I guess, Facebook memory or something that came up. At one point, I had posted a picture. I said of a little trout about this big, and like it's catnip guts. I said this fish has been gutted because the cats had like chewed on it, and then like apparently pulled out this little catnip pouch.
Oh no!
And you know, like slobbered all over it.
No.
And in the morning, I guess, or something, I had woken up and gone to the bathroom or something, and unknowingly like stepped on this slobbery guts of this fish. I was like, okay, yeah.
My Facebook memories today. It said, I should read it. It's so funny. Let's see if I can find it. Let me turn this off. It was so funny. I'm like, I used to be funny. What happened to me?
Well, somebody posted on Facebook, what is the worst thing you've stepped on? And I'm like, I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, my dog was very sick last year. So,
Well, yeah, it's animal products.
animal products. So this is 12 years ago. So how old is Hannah? She's 20. So this is 12 years ago. I said, okay. So my children are playing pirate. And they run in my room and to my dismay inform me that I am the cook. Of all things to be on the ship, the last thing I want to be is the cook. But I guess that's better than swabbing the poop deck. Like, and I don't think it got very many likes. It had 1 like and 6 comments. I mean, come on. And it's all about the poop deck. Robert Burge, I will never swab a poop deck. I wasn't he the one that joined the Navy? Okay. That's funny. But
yeah, but he was going to be jumping into the ocean.
Yeah.
So he was he borrowed my goggles, and I said, "Did you put him back where you found him?" He goes, "Are you going swimming anytime soon?" He borrowed my goggles. He goes, "Mom, I'm going to swim." I'm like, my son has swam better than me since he was 6 years old. And I love being in the water, and I love swimming. He could swim circles around me when he was 6. And he hasn't wanted to swim for a while now.
Where did he go swimming? Here?
At his gym.
At a gym,
yeah. He said, "It hurts so bad, Mom. It hurts so bad." He works out at the gym all the time, but he hasn't gone swimming for a while. And yeah, so we better wrap this up because my son needs to go to work and he's probably waiting for us.
So did you? So what did you? Make?
I made 2 needle minders. I was gonna scissor fobs. They've got little Christmas trees down here.
Those are so cute.
And these look like Christmas candies to me.
Oh, they do. They look like those.
Yeah, and I have red ones. So I'm gonna make some red. But I just was like, it took me this long to make 2. So
that's fun.
So
they're very light, actually. The beads are light.
I made these Scrabble tile needle minders. The lady who had been texting with us.
Yeah, she wants to see what they would look like.
Yeah. So we made she had some specific letters that so I made the letters for those, and then I just made a set of those same letters.
We're going to make more of the Scrabble tiles in different letters. It's just we wanted to get those done.
Yeah, but then I made these also as a Santa moon.
Yeah, we had one of these on the Etsy site and it sold, so I will renew it, and now it'll be up there with 2.
And this little dragonfly.
That's really
jeweled
cute.
Yeah,
dragonfly.
Did we have this jeweled dragonfly before?
No, I've had it for a while. I just haven't
There's a
done
different
anything
one
with it.
over there.
And an angel, and a Christmas tree.
Real quick before we sign off, I forgot. Also on that trip, I didn't get any photos. We saw beaver swimming because I was like, "What is that?" Swimming in the river, and all of a sudden, slap with his tail, so because and he kept coming up and slapping the water, and And Dave goes, it's because we're close to their den.
Oh,
They're trying to get us to leave.
Yeah.
And then we saw a heron. And, of course, duckies. And it was really cool. I'm glad we didn't see anything skunky or anything like that. But it was so much fun to see those beavers.
Yeah.
Well, we better sign off.
Yes.
And so I have to go back and build furniture tomorrow. And I have to go home and rest. I'm so tired. But thank you for joining us and for coming back for another week. And we will see you at Halloween.
Yes.
Bye.
Well, the day before Halloween.
Yeah.
Well,
It'll air Halloween.
it'll air on Halloween. So we do it
Does that mean
Halloween.
we have to
it
dress
up.
as costumes?
Absolutely. Dress as costumes.
Dress in costumes.
Yes, we have to
I'm
dress
tired.
as costumes.
In costumes, yes.
I'm tired. Leave me alone.
Just from the
thought
waist
about
up. You,
Yeah.
you can wear your jammies. But from the waist up, we have to dress up. Yeah,
I will
we gotta
never
figure
dress up
something
for
out.
Halloween anymore.
Our neighbors across the street, okay, they invited us to a party, which sounded fun at first, and then I read the thing that was like vaccinations, which is fine, and Beetlejuice costumes, Beetlejuice themed costumes.
No, thank you.
Required. I was like, required? I'm gonna just dress as an extra. I don't know. I don't think I've even seen the movie. Maybe
So the
once.
last Halloween costume I wore was for work, and I took markers with me, that you could mark on skin with, and I dressed as a canvas, and they would just draw on me. I ran an art program. I did some drawing of my own on myself.
I can't
but
remember.
I think the last one I wore was, because the symphony, we would do like a concert around the 31st sometime. So we always did like a Halloween themed thing, I guess. And so whatever concert it was, people could dress up if they wanted to. So like one of our cellists wore a banana costume,
Oh,
that
yeah.
banana thing. But so I always did like a black cat, which is a tuxedo cat actually.
Yeah.
So I had a white turtleneck and then a black sweater over it, and these
You
white.
mean because you lived where Halloween was cold?
Yes.
That's the thing here. You can't dress.
And I had gloves because we had used white gloves for handbells at one point.
Yeah.
So I just like cut the fingertips off so I could play.
Like marching band style?
Yeah. And so I had white gloves and I would wear white socks. And
That's cute.
I don't remember I think I wore black shoes.
I don't think
But
I-
then black pants. But for the tail, I had like I had some old leg warmers, and so I took one leg warmer and put the other one inside it,
Yeah.
and then like safety pinned it to my pants in the back, and then I bought a little headband with ears on it,
Yeah.
and I bought this little thing you could like pinch on your nose,
Yeah.
that had whiskers, and
Yeah.
it hurt so badly. I had to cut away part of it so that it would go up my nose
Oh my gosh.
without pinching me. It's like when you wear like clip-on earrings,
Yeah.
that if you move it, your ear will kill you, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to because I still had to play, but I had to have this thing pinching my nose. But then I made I used Hotspur and Cyrano. They had these little baby collars that I had saved, and so I took a coffee can and I made a little circle that said, I've had all my shots, and I tied it to their collars, and I just buckled their two collars together, and so it fit around my neck, and just so
funny.
that
How
was a
cute.
little thing.
So
yeah.
tell us what you're going to be for Halloween,
Yeah.
and we will see you next week.
All right.
Like, share, subscribe. Bye.
Bye.